as you guys know, I said I'm going to start reviewing select new movies on the channel. Stuff I was going to see anyway, stuff that relates back to like tying it back into like movies that we used to watch, the difference between the two, not just a bunch of new movie reviews, but some. And Fandango came out with this thing that's everywhere, the top 10 most anticipated movies of the summer, of this summer. And there are 3 massive, massive movies, in my opinion, that are not on this list. And I don't know how they're not on this list, because we're going to go over what is on this list. And I don't know what it says that these 3 are not on the list. And one of them, I have not heard anyone. I don't care if it's Jeremy Johns. I don't care if it's Critical Drinker. I don't care if it's Nerdrotic. I don't care if it's WDW Pro. I don't care if it's Grace Randolph. I don't care who it is. I have not heard one single person mention the most glaring and obvious, mind-blowing omission from this list. And we're going to get to it in just a second. All right, so here are the supposed 10 most anticipated summer movies. And thank you, Gen X Gen. I appreciate that. This list blows my mind right here. So we have, first of all, we got a bunch of sequels. Shocking. I know. Here's my shocked face. Here's my normal face. I mean, it's like sequels and reboots and reimaginings and shocking. I know. But we have Toy Story 5. 5. Not Utah, get me 2. It's 5. 5. Toy Story 5 is the #1 supposed most anticipated. And the fact that it's a 5th one and it's the most anticipated is ridiculous to me. 2 is Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I think has a very good chance. There's a chance that Spider-Man Brand New Day gets a bigger box office than Doomsday, which is sad. But Spider-Man Brand New Day is #2. #3, The Devil Wears Nada. I mean, The Devil Wears Prada. The Devil Wears Nada is a decidedly different genre of film. The Devil Wears Prada 2, 10 years in the making. And, Risha wants to see this. But she also consented to, or relented to the fact that they got rid of Adrian Grenier. They wanted to cut the guy out of it. They complained that the guy was holding her back in the first movie and that he was terrible and was holding her back from her potential and all that kind of stuff. So they just axed him from the movie, and he talked about it publicly. So they got rid of him, and they're bringing you Devil Wears Prada 2. Oh, I guarantee you, the Devil Wears Prada could definitely hit $1 billion. It definitely could. I mean, Toy Story 5. Did I say Devil Wears Prada? Devil Wears Prada 2 ain't hitting $1 billion. I know, I was like, damn, that's a sharp turn. No, the Devil Wears Prada 2. I meant Toy Story 5. Sorry, these comments are coming in fast and furious, and I'm trying to jump back and forth. But no, the Toy Story 2 could hit $1 billion. It could. It could. I don't think it will, but it could. I sure hope so, my friend. So, coming in at #4, I'll jump back over here in a second. Coming in at #4 is The Odyssey. And listen, you guys follow me. You know I taught ancient Greek history. The Odyssey is one of my favorite books of all time. The Iliad and the Odyssey. Way up high. Somebody asked me about horror books. I can always recommend it. I love it. I love The Stand by Stephen King. Those are probably 2 of my favorites. He has a newer one. I think it's called Fairy Tale that I really dug. If you haven't read that one, check it out. He's crazy, but he's a hell of a writer. He always has been. He's not very good at endings, but the Iliad and the Odyssey are my favorite. I taught them. I used to be able to recite 40 pages deep the Iliad. So I love these. And I was so excited about Christopher Nolan doing this until I saw the outfits and I saw the casting. And the casting is stunt casting. It is box checking casting. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The casting doesn't fit. I taught this stuff, so I'm very close to the material. It doesn't fit. So that took a lot of luster off, and probably for a lot of people, which dropped it behind things like The Devil Wears Prada 2. And then number 5 is Scary Movie 2026. I'm looking forward to this because I've heard it's so politically incorrect that people want it banned from the theaters. That just makes me want to see it even more. Number 6, the Moana live action remake. That is what it is. The Rock and all his hair. But I mean, what are you going to do? He's The Rock. Like, you can't change The Rock. Rock's character and his charisma as Maui is really what made that movie, whether you like him or not. Number 7, we got another sequel with Minions and monsters. I never got into the Minions. My kids never got into the Minions. We don't pay attention to Minions Land at Universal Studios, except for the restaurant, which is fun. That's it. Number 8 is Mortal Kombat 2. And I think this one deserves to be a little higher because this looks like a whole lot of fun. Me and Logan are going to see this day one. You'll hear back from me. I'll tell you, out of these on the channel, you will probably hear from me. I will probably see the Odyssey just so I can talk about it, because this one I can talk about probably way too much. Mortal Kombat 2, I will see, and Scary Movie and Spider-Man. I'll see those. The next one up, I'll probably see just so I can give you my opinion on it, and that's Supergirl. I am not interested. I'm tired of the nihilistic truth, justice, whatever. I think Project Hail Mary and Super Mario and the Night of the Seven Kingdoms with their traditional fun heroes and uplifting messages. And I think those kind of signaled the end of the nihilistic, cynical point of view. And I don't think truth, justice, whatever fits. And I don't think her comments helped very much. But I'll see it and give you my opinion. I think James Gunn's out. I think you'll get this and Clayface and maybe anything else they went into production on. I think when his contract's up in 2027, he's out. With the Paramount, I think he's out. And then if it were me to fix DC, I would let that cook and just let it sit there for about a year and a half. And I would come in with the old Marvel plan. I would take sort of a more high B level superhero. Maybe you take the Green Arrow. And you make a movie that doesn't necessarily feel like you're watching a superhero movie to start off with, like the original Iron Man. And you tell a human interest story, because you could tell a very similar story with Green Arrow, right? With him getting on the island and all this kind of stuff. You could tell a very similar story. And then I would backdoor build the DC universe off a character like that and start connecting little breadcrumbs and doing individual movies and take the time, take 8 years, 9 years to build up to a new Super Friends, basically a Justice League. Maybe I would literally do Super Friends instead of Justice League. But that's how I'd fix DC. Stop starting with Superman, stop with Batman, stop with Wonder Woman and Supergirl and all that. Start with that high middle of the road character and tell a human interest story, and then start tying them together. So I'll see that. And then number 10 is the Insidious sequel that doesn't even have a title. You've got a movie on here that doesn't even have a title officially yet, that is in the top 10. Now, as Nerdy Panda drops a $5 super chat, thank you. Hopefully we hit 50K here in another week or so if we can pick up some speed. Brand New Day, I don't know. We'll see. It has potential to be big, and then also maybe not. I don't know. I don't have the same faith in the Odyssey. And look, why did it before the casting announcement, it would not have been fourth. It would not have been behind 3 sequels as far as anticipation. It is now behind Toy Story 5, The Devil Wears Prada 2, which is 10 years in the making, and the 4th Superman or Spider-Man movie. The casting dropped it there. If it doesn't pick up some word of mouth, and the trailers I've seen haven't looked good. They haven't looked good. The footage I've seen hasn't looked good. The costuming looks horrific to me. I don't know about that one, but we'll see. Gen X Gen got it. The number one biggest movie that nobody on this list has talked about. Like I said, I don't care who it is. I don't care. Nobody from Jeremy Johns to Drinker Nerdrotic, Grace Randolph, nobody. I even was in a chat the other night with those guys, and I was trying, and I mentioned it to them, and they didn't catch it. And I was like, nobody's realized Disclosure Day is not in the top 10. Disclosure Day comes out on June 12th. It is a Steven Spielberg, huge sci-fi epic about aliens. Some people considering it maybe a backdoor tie-in to as a sequel to Close Encounters. Disclosure Day, you got Spielberg and all the government out here talking about real disclosure, a massive Spielberg summer tent pole, and it's behind in untitled Insidious sequel. What? Like, what world am I living in that's not in the top 10? But untitled Insidious sequel and a 5th Toy Story and a Moana reboot and a 75th Minions movie and a 10-year-old Devil Wears Prada and another scary movie. These movies are all ahead of Disclosure Day, a massive Spielberg sci-fi tentpole. What? I could not believe it. And nobody's talking about it. Nobody. And here is the other. This is another one. No Mando and Grogu. It comes out late May, Memorial Day weekend. That's the official start of the summer movie season. It's not on here either. So now we don't have a massive Steven Spielberg summer sci-fi blockbuster on this top 10 list, most anticipated. And we don't have a Star Wars film, a Star Wars story, Mando and Grogu. We don't have that in the top 10. And now projections on Mando and Grogu are saying it's tracking to maybe make $70 million at the box office. $70 million? Do you know what a giant failure that will be? Holy crap. But now we have no Spielberg summer blockbuster in the top 10 most anticipated, no Star Wars film, no Mando Grogu in the top 10. Okay. And then there's another one that's missing. See if anybody else got the third one. -0 is fall, not summer. Yeah. The third one, no He-Man. He-Man comes out June the 5th. They've been advertising it hard. 80s tie-in. Now, I took it to task for being CGI heavy, too CGI heavy. Dune 3 comes out at Christmas. It's not summertime. Dune 3 is at Christmas time. These are summer movies. 10 most anticipated for the summer. So no He-Man. Now, I took it to task for being too CGI, but I still want to see it. It's He-Man. Avengers Doomsday is Christmas time. This is summer only, you guys. This is summer's most anticipated movies. That will be a travesty. If that's all it makes, it's crash and burn. Yeah, the fact that nobody's talking about the Spielberg movie is probably going to be a classic. I mean, he doesn't miss with that many movies. Come on, y'all. The fact that nobody's talking about, somebody said this is a young millennial summer and on into the next generation. Well, I can't remember what comes after millennial. Is it Gen Z? This is not because the older millennials, I wouldn't even put them with this as being their summer either. Because I'm only a few years away from being a millennial myself. This, though, like no Spielberg giant sci-fi blockbuster summer film, no Star Wars film, no He-Man, which ties into Gen X and all that kind of stuff. To me, those are three big movies that I was going to see. I'm going to see them regardless, and I will talk to them. If you guys want to hear about them, I'll talk about them in my way. I don't do the standard reviews. Masters of the Universe, definitely for us. See, here's the problem though. Why So Blue Tube? When I did the video taking He-Man, the Masters of the Universe movie, to task for too much CGI, I was told that they're making it for the younger generation now. That's why it looks like that, and that's why they're doing all this. And then when it's not on the top 10 most anticipated list, the people turn around and say, well, that's because it's mainly for the older people. Well, it can't be both. You can't hide behind both. And I've heard it both ways, not just from you. I'm not picking on you, but I mean, just in general. So that is that's kind of, you can't go both ways on it. And I feel like there's some things like, I mean, look, it's too much CGI, but in the end, it's He-Man. I'm going to see it. Campia was talking about about Disclosure Day. That'd be one reason I didn't hear about it, because I've listened to John Campia twice, and each time I've made a video telling exactly what I thought about his takes. It hasn't been 20 years since the first Devil Wears Prada, has it? Has it been 20 years since the Devil Wears Prada? Rishad has she's no help.
I can't remember when it came.
But that is 3. Yeah, I think there's a chance that you could see by the end of the summer that Disclosure Day ends up wiping stuff out. I think there's a chance. Well, no, they've ran Star Wars into the ground for sure. I can't, dude. There is a video, and I don't normally call out people and take them to task. There's a video where I put him on the thumbnail with a big clown face over his head. But I just couldn't believe that, like, so many people are talking about this specific list and they didn't think about. So I heard a lot of them mention that Mando and Grogu weren't on here. Nobody mentioned Disclosure Day that I saw, and nobody mentioned He-Man. I didn't see Campia because I wouldn't watch Campia unless it was to tell you exactly how ridiculous I think he is. The Devil Wears Prada 1 came out in 2006, so 20 years in the making. Well, there you go. I saw that they're rebooting Escape from New York. What are they not rebooting? Every day, I don't know if Jason's still in here, but literally about every day, I send him and Brian links where they're rebooting or reimagining something else, because they got no original ideas in Hollywood. There are none. And people like me who are independent movie makers and writers, there's no room for us, because if we don't do exactly what they want us to do, you're just gonna have to go make it out on your own. Unless you're connected and you're a Nepo baby and all that kind of stuff, you got to go do it on your own. And then they'll try to shut you down like they did with Markiplier, where he made his movie and it's taking over #1 at the box office. So they yank him off the official box office charts and all that, because they don't want you to see that it can be done. So everything works against you unless you want to play their game. And their game is telling agenda-filled stories that nobody wants to see anymore, ignoring the stuff that people do want to see. Like, they have the blueprint with Project Hail Mary, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Mario. They have the blueprint to what people want to see. They can make all kinds of money, and they will probably ignore it. They'll probably ignore it. And unless you're ready to do that too, there's no place for you there. They're rebooting Highlander too. Yes, that's another one. They're going to do that. They are also remaking The Howling. Joe Dante's The Howling. What are you doing? Remaking Joe Dante's The Howling and John Carpenter's Escape from New York. What are you doing? And now I'm hearing that Blumhouse is doing a sequel to The Thing. Blumhouse, of all people, Blumhouse. 3 years since the last season. That's it. Because Hollywood's lazy, y'all. They are lazy. They used to crank out 22 episodes of a TV show per year. Now you're lucky to get 8 episodes every 2 years. They're lazy. And they're trying to milk you for streaming money. That's what it really is. They're trying to milk you to stay subscribed for streaming money. But I just wanted to cover that because, man, my top 10 most anticipated for the summer definitely would include Disclosure Day, #1, Steven Spielberg blockbuster summer movie. My number 2 is probably Spider-Man Brand New Day. My number 3 is probably He-Man. Number 4, probably Mortal Kombat. Number 5, probably Mando and Grogu. And then I will see like the Odyssey and Supergirl because I need to talk about them. But that's what I got on that subject. Blew my mind that how do you miss a giant Spielberg movie? But that's your summer top 10. Not mine, but a top 10.
I know.